Hello everyone, welcome to Homeschool Autism Life. My name is Jamie. This week's video is another glorious open collaboration with Jessica from the Waldock Way and Abby from Rooted in Rest. And this month they wanted to have us talk about our homeschool mom must-haves. Now, if you're looking for things that are strictly homeschool related, I have a video that I will leave down in the description box below talking about those must-haves. But I just made that fairly recently, bad planning on my part. But I thought, as I was thinking about it and going, oh shoot, I might not be able to do this one, I was like, wait a minute, there are lots of things that homeschool mom needs to have to maintain sanity and and to continue to enjoy this journey of homeschool. And so I thought I would talk about those specific things that I use for myself to keep myself encouraged and alive and not tired and exhausted, because I can really easily get there. I'm one of those people who needs lots and lots of sleep and doesn't get it. So how do I keep that energy and afloat? We are going to talk about it. So the first thing that I feel is a must-have is this thermos cup. I think it's an Arctic, not a Yeti. But I love this thing. I love this thing because probably I think every mama has experienced the joys of making themselves a cup of tea, and then your children need you for something, and then you can't find it, A, or B, it's immediately cold. And this thing keeps my tea. I'm a rooibos tea drinker. Can't say that word today. And it's something that I really appreciate. It doesn't bother my tummy. And so the one thing that I don't like doing, because it's fairly expensive, is wasting it. And so this has helped me so many times. It makes a good 2 full teacups. And then I have it for the whole day, and I find myself drinking more because of this. So that's my first one, not my number one, top one, but this one has made a huge difference for the amount of liquid that I'm drinking, and it stays gloriously warm. So that one is one that I thought I would share. Another one that I would share is my phone. Now, a lot of people would say that this is a bad distraction, and sometimes it can be when you get a phone call during homeschool or whatever. But I also have found that it is hugely peaking. I have found it hugely helpful to make myself, or remind myself, that I'm not alone in this journey. A lot of times, you're in your home and you're doing day after day after day the same schedule, and you might be banging your head against a math wall, or your children are having issues with attitudes, or fights with each other, and it can feel very isolating. And for me, with a special needs son, it can feel even more so, because especially in the world of autism, if you've met one child with autism, you've met one child with autism. And so finding other mamas who are going through it, who are willing to share a part of their journey on YouTube, has been hugely helpful. I also find it really helpful when I'm researching things like homeschooling high school. My daughter's going into the 8th grade, but I want to get ahead on the research so that when I get there, I'm not completely overwhelmed. That hugely helpful doing that. So, it's other mamas like Jessica from the Waldock Way and Abby from Rooted in Rest and Living with Eve, and the home-based therapy program that I do with Darian is the Autism Treatment Center of America. They have lots of things that you can see on YouTube. And so I really feel that this is a must-have for me, just so that yeah, for a sense of community, but also for the ability to research when I like, what about this curriculum? I think I like it, but is it going to fit? And you can get flip throughs, like, so helpful. But yes, you do have to use it in moderation. All right. Another thing that I feel is, as a homeschool mom, necessary. This is what I call my brain. I am one of those people who is, I've never been diagnosed with ADHD and all of that kind of stuff, so I don't really feel like that label applies. But I am very much like, if I'm cleaning my house, I'm like, oh, that needs cleaning, and then, oh, that needs cleaning, and that needs cleaning, and as I'm going along, I find other things to do. And so by the time I'm done the day and I'm exhausted and I'm tired, I haven't done much. It doesn't feel like that because nothing is actually checked off the list and accomplished. I also often will have an idea that'll just go through my head and I'm like, oh, I'll remember that. And then I never do. So having the list, I've got to-do lists and I've got meal plans and I've got decluttering plans and YouTube and my sunrise program, and then my homeschool tab is hugely useful because I'm planning for 2023-24 homeschool year, and I'm already thinking about that. And so if I get something in my head or I see something on YouTube, I can jot it down and remember where it is because it's all in this. I also used to write tons and tons of to-do lists, and then I would leave them somewhere and then I couldn't find them. And so this is my brain. It helps me maintain my sanity. Another thing that I feel is important is sometimes proper nutrition is incredibly hard, and feeding or eating a proper diet and lots of good healthy foods isn't always super easy. There's days where something happens and I have to shift plans, and so I have found this Fiber Wise, it's called, and it's just a bar that I can grab if it's later in the day, and I can just grab it, and I can do that while I'm homeschooling. And that has saved a lot of like the health issues that I have struggled with in the past. Being able to deal with that and have snacks that are quick. It's a little bit more expensive than it used to be to have sometimes those quick things what you're supposed to do, but it's one of those things that I look for. All right. Another thing that I shared this in my homeschool in the video that I'm putting down below, but I wanted to share this again because I am finding uses for these giant paper clips everywhere, and it's a mommy homeschool must-have because I have found sometimes trying to figure out where all the answer keys are in my teacher books to be a real pain, and this helps me because once I figure it out, I only have to figure it out once. So this is my friend. I got them from the Dollar Spot or Dollar Tree. I think I got them from the Dollar Tree or Dollarama, but they're also available, and there's a link to some on YouTube. Not on YouTube, on Amazon. That's the one that I was like, yeah, that if I run out of these ones, I will definitely be getting because I have found so many uses for them. All right. Now, I'm not a person. Now that I have my like cell phone that actually has credit card or little sheaves in it, I don't carry a purse anymore. But I do find that when I go out and I have this, it makes my life so much easier when I'm like walking around with the kids in library and all of that kind of stuff. And so this is my Van Gogh bag, and it's my bag. It's ginormous, as you can see, but it fits my personality and who I am as an artsy fartsy person. But I can also fit in things like this when we end up going shopping, and yeah, because they're not as big and bulky as some of the store find ones. And I just love having these available because when we go grocery shopping and I realize, oh shoot, I forgot this, that, or the other thing, having these in this bag, perfect. Love it, love it, love it. I thought I would share that. Now, I shared also in that other video having plants around. And so on occasion, my flowers are looking really sad right now, which is why I'm not showing them to you right now. But every few months, I like to splurge a little bit on myself and get some fresh flowers for my table. I cannot tell you how much joy that brings me, even if they only last for a couple of days. In probably 3 or 4 weeks, we'll probably have our lilacs growing. I don't have any like big plants in my yard, but there's several on public property that I will pick from, and they last 3 days max before they look sad and pathetic. But for those, like, the smell of having fresh lilacs in my house gives me joy, brightens up my homeschool day, changes the mood for even my children. And so I wanted to encourage you that that's like, you know, I don't get many manicures and I don't go to a hair salon. I have a neighbor cut my hair, and there's a lot of things that I don't do. But this is one thing that I do, having some fresh flowers that pop a color, and the smell, just there's something about it. God's nature is amazing for that. All right, so the last 2 things that I was going to share is my give thanks journal. I have this with my 2 girls, and we do this every single morning, and I just love the idea that it fosters just a posture of thankfulness. It's really, really, really easy to get in a downward spiral, just with the way the world is right now, and has been for forever, but it feels worse now. When you're trying to plan for the future, and the future seems so unstable, and you hear my grandfather passed away, and there's those feelings and those emotions, and then a neighbor lady, she fell and broke her hip, and yeah, like there's just, it's so heavy. And somebody in our small group had a subdermal hematoma, and so there's just been so much lately, and it's really good for me to remember to find those things to be thankful for. And sometimes it's easy. Some days are like, oh, I can write those 3 things down like that, no problem. And then other days it's harder to find. And so it's, thank you, Lord, for the healing that you are going to provide these people in our lives that are hurt or sick or feeling poorly. We praise you for Darian's 15th birthday. Those things are huge. And so I'm sharing these at the end, not because I don't feel like these are number 1 priorities. They truly are in my life, but it was one of those things where I wanted to be able to share about why this is so important. The last thing is, of course, number 1, my Bible, and then my Bible journal. These are also, we do them every school morning, and I sit with my tea or my drink and water, and I sit in front of my plants, in front of my window. Hopefully there's sun streaming in and warming my skin, and I can't tell you, it's like a warm hug from God. And I don't know how many times in my journal, with the Bible readings that we do, God has really spoken directly to the issues that are at my that are in my heart, that are heavy on me. And when he speaks to me through his word, it's amazing how then suddenly you feel a lot lighter, and you feel prepared for taking on the day, homeschooling your kids. Now, I'm going to say, I also do this at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I am not an early riser. I'm not super 5 o'clock in the morning while my kids are like, that's just not me. That's not the place that I'm in. And I want to share that with you because I think it's really hard sometimes. My kids, while I'm doing this, might be fighting. They often interrupt me, and I'm like, mommy's busy doing her quiet time with God. But it's one of the things that, even though it's not perfect, even though my time with the Lord is loud and noisy, and I may be interrupted 5 to 7 times over the course of that time, God still speaks, and He still uses this to calm my heart and show me where I need to go, what steps I need to take, what He asks of me. And so I am eternally grateful to have this ability to actually reach out and go, Lord, I'm homeschooling. This is what we're struggling with. And because I have practiced an attitude of thankfulness, it's amazing how many times my prayers always begin with, thank you, Lord, that you are going to see to this problem. I ask that you will be with the people that I'm worried about, or praying about, not worried, praying about. And I just ask that you will show me with wisdom and grace how to homeschool my kids in a way that they're prepared for the future. So I hope that this video has been encouraging to you. I know collecting these things and going from room to room and collecting them was a lot of fun for me, and just reminds me the things that God has shown me and given me the wisdom and the grace to find ways to do. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful homeschool week, and we will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.